Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Great Day here on KCWI. Heading into some political topics this morning, but we're doing it in a Great Day way, which means we're going to have some fun with it as well. Brian Duffy, cartoonist extraordinaire when it comes to politics, in studio with us, courtesy of Hamilton Law Firm. We want to know, what are you going to draw today? You have so much to go on, sir. I know we have some more candidates we need to cover.
Still have candidates to cover.
The big debate last night. What are we going to be doing today?
We'll do somebody that was on the stage in the main event.
Main event last night.
Right. Except he wasn't as, I don't think he was as successful as he was in the first debate. Okay. But he still came across in the time that he had fairly effectively. And let's see.
That could be like four guys.
Yeah. Well, let's put Scott Walker out of the picture completely because he didn't do anything for himself. Yeah. I don't think you're going to see any movement whatsoever in the polls for him.
Okay,
tweets on Scott Walker kept saying, "Is Scott Walker still there? Is Scott Walker still like?" You kept seeing tweets about this last night.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we'll draw somebody. Good God, I'm going to need a new pad of paper.
I know.
This man needs a new pad.
I need a new pad of paper.
Everybody here.
It's in the budget. It's in the budget.
It's in the budget. All right.
Paper.
So we're going to do somebody that. Well, I haven't drawn him very much, and I think I did draw him some years ago when he was in the House of Representatives, but it's been a while.
Okay, there's a clue. There's a clue.
He was also part of the Midwest massacre of governors back in 2010, where a lot of the Democratic governors disappeared. Mm-hmm. One of them was, of course, Chet Culver here in Iowa, but there was other ones too. And it's in a state that everybody kind of confuses with Iowa.
Idaho. Ohio.
There we go. Yes.
So Kasich?
John Kasich.
John Kasich. Yes.
So John Kasich was on the little program Roski on Politics. We talked about the fact that Bono is one of his major supporters.
Really?
Oh, I didn't know
so
that.
I asked him, I said, why is it, Governor Kasich, that on the back of your book you have quotes from Stephanopoulos and Bono? I saw all the people.
That's quite a combination.
And Eli Wiesel, who wrote the famous Holocaust novel Night. But I said, what is this deal about Bono? And he said, well, we were working on debt relief for Africa. And Bono said a quote in public, and then he asked him if he could put it on the book, which is, if you want to get something done, get John Kasich passionate about it.
And that's true.
I think his performance last night, you know, I was
going to say, going back to what you were saying, Duffy, you didn't think he moved the marker as he has done.
Well, you know, I think that there's so many of these people on the stage, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to make a point on something. I think that we're missing the Iowa straw poll because the Iowa straw poll would have weeded out a lot of these people.
Oh, half of them probably.
I think half the problem is you have so many people on stage, it's hard just to have a decent debate.
Think about that last straw poll. Tim Pawlenty was kicked out in the straw poll. Tim Pawlenty, obviously governor of Minnesota. And if you put that in terms of this race, Tim Pawlenty would have still been on that stage, or at least in the opening debate last night. Yeah, there's no winnowing process this year.
No, and in fact, it's you know, there's undercurrents on that too. When you talk about Tim Pawlenty, I mean, what was happening was that he and Bachmann were in a money race, and so both of them were spending a ton of money against each other, trying to knock each other out of it. Right. Now, Bachmann obviously won the straw poll that year
for about 24 hours.
For about 24 hours after, you know, until
Rick Perry.
Until Rick Perry showed up in her hometown, which was Waterloo, Iowa, and she refused to get out of the car. And I think we've already discussed that.
Yeah.
If you want to see that illustrated, rent the movie Caucus. You can buy it on Google Play. But they were there rolling cameras, and she wouldn't come out of the bus.
She would not come out of the bus, and afterwards, while he was shaking hands and talking to the people in the audience, she just stood up on the stage there, and that's all she did. So, and she spent so much money on that. The amount of money she spent, I think, was close to over $1 million to win that straw poll. And it obviously hurt her. It hurt, you know, it hurt Pawlenty, but it also allowed people to actually see all of these candidates firsthand.
Right.
And you know, firsthand here is, you know, hundreds of media people are there too, so you see how they interact, but you also see how they organize. And we don't have that, and so that's why you've got, you know, 17 people up there. Well, I should say 16 because there's one of them that I even forgot his name anymore.
What, Gilmore? Perry?
That's Gilmore. He's in it to win it, even though he's never seen any place.
So besides his performance last night, what do you think of this guy?
I think he's got a shot to take the Bush vote away from Bush.
I can't.
He's more of a moderate.
I can't believe we're actually considering putting a third member of a family in.
Well, I know we'll probably get more into it during Roski and Politics, but it was interesting how much they brought up his family, like his father, his brother, and finally he's like, I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do. So that's a battle he's going to have to fight this entire campaign.
Mr. Duffy is drawing Governor Kasich, and what's interesting about John Kasich, he was on the show, and you will see that in a longer form, his communication really comes across. He's a plain-spoken, very smart guy. When he was elected to Congress, he decided that he was going to try to fix the federal budget, but he and he's also considers himself more blue-collar. He goes, look, my dad delivered mail. He worked at the post office. And he had his first event here in Des Moines at Dahl's Distributing, which they're a beer distributor up the street. I went there and chatted with him, and I said, okay, we chatted about all this, that, and the other thing. I said, so finally, why are we at a beer distributor today? He goes, well, I thought it would keep me hopping.
All right, he should just lose because of that.
So a little bit of a humorous there. I got to tell you, those eyes say it all there, Duffy. Those
he has these, he's rather an interesting looking guy. He's got kind of a craggy face. His hair is
spiky.
Is the opposite of Trump. I mean, Trump probably spends hour upon hour on his hair to make sure that the different directions, which I think there's about 15 different directions his hair actually goes. Right. In his case, he just wakes up, takes a shower, and how his hair is how his hair is. So it's not, he's not, he is a, you could say he's a policy wonk because he is. He's an insider, but he has been able to do so many things. He was instrumental in really getting us the balanced budget back in 1996. So
that's really good.
His performance in the debate last night really goes to this format and who can do the elevator speech really well. Carly Fiorina, and we're going to talk about this in the next segment, Roski and Politics, but all the Twitter feeds are like Carly this, Carly that, because she really has that ability to encapsulate, put it in few words, and really get it out. Whereas John Kasich likes to, elaborate, tell a story, and it's not necessarily Ivy League language that he uses. No, he doesn't. He uses down-to-earth language, and that's where I think he's going to be able to pick up people. New Hampshire is going to be the place where he'll be able to look for people, for voters. And then afterwards, I think that he's going to have a pretty good shot at things. I don't know about Iowa. I mean, that's, that's a different animal. He's more of a moderate. He doesn't even want to talk about same-sex marriage anymore. He's very strict on abortion. So it's going to prove to be pretty interesting going down the road. His same-sex answer in the last debate was considered one of the most compassionate of any Republican out this cycle. And in New Hampshire, you mentioned New Hampshire, his super PAC has spent $3.7 million in New Hampshire and has not made that type of investment here in Iowa. So he's definitely getting the word out in New Hampshire, has done some visits here, but I enjoyed my time with him. After I met with him, I'm like, yeah, this is a guy who people do connect to. A lot of the people at the event didn't know much about him. Maybe knew his name or whatever, but at the end of it, like, wow, he really made an impact. And I have that whole speech he gave right after he and I spoke. I filmed his speech, and I've been waiting for an excuse to show it. So maybe I'll show more of that on the show. But anyway, great drawing as always.
Drawing is absolutely fantastic. Do we still have more GOP candidates to draw? Are we getting close?
We have the guy that I forgot.
Gilmore.
Gilmore. We have him, and then we also have some Democrats that really are not. A lot of people aren't paying attention to O'Malley, nor are they paying attention to Chafee. So, you've got three of them coming up too.
Okay, more to come with Brian Duffy. Thank you so much. Another great drawing there, courtesy of Hamilton Law Firm. We'll be right back, continuing the political discussion with Roski on Politics next on Great Day on KCWI.